Breaking news, y'all. The WBC sanctioning body has officially ranked Manny Pacquiao, who is 46 years old, that just had a draw with Mario Barrios last month. He is the number one ranked boxer at welterweight in the WBC. This is blasphemous, bro. And like, to all the boxing fans out there, right? Whether you're a Manny Pacquiao fan or not, right? How can you expect a casual boxing fan to take the sport of boxing serious when the WBC just ranked Manny Pacquiao number one at 46 years old when he just came off of a draw, right? And I watched that entire fight. This was not a robbery. Anybody that you hear that says Manny Pacquiao got robbed by the judges in this draw against Mario Barrios, they didn't watch the fight. And if they did watch the fight, they watched the fight with a biased eye, right? If you're one of those people, I challenge you to go back and watch the entire fight from round 1 to round 12, or however many rounds the fight was. I believe it was 12, right? Go back and watch the fight, okay? There's no way that you had either fighter winning 2 more rounds than the other one. That's how close the fight was, right? Like, Manny Pacquiao, the best thing he was doing was stealing rounds by getting active towards the end of each round, right? From round 1, I noticed that Manny Pacquiao was breathing extremely hard in his corner. I also noticed that every time that Mario Barrios hit Manny Pacquiao to the body, he was telling Mario Barrios that he was hitting him below the belt. The referee wasn't saying anything, right? The referee wasn't telling Mario Barrios, hey, you punched Manny too low. Manny Pacquiao himself was repeatedly telling Mario Barrios throughout the entire fight, hey, you're hitting me too low below the belt when you're hitting me to the body, when he was clearly touching Manny on the body. Legally, right? Every time Mario Barrios hit him too hard, Manny Pacquiao is screaming at Mario Barrios saying, you hit me behind the head. Keep in mind, the referee, he didn't say anything the entire fight about Mario Barrios doing anything illegal. The entire fight, he didn't say anything, right? Now, Mario Barrios' corner was literally screaming at Mario Barrios, telling him, stop having so much respect for Manny Pacquiao. Stop letting him referee the fight. Stop touching Manny Pacquiao's gloves at the beginning and end of each round and go in there and put that work in. Put your foot on the gas. You're going to lose to this guy. Mario Barrios refused to listen. He refused to listen. And it was so clear that if Mario Barrios just would have put his foot on the gas and gave it 100%, he probably would have stopped Manny Pacquiao. Easily. He probably would have stopped him, right? Now, don't get it twisted. I think everybody would agree that in Manny Pacquiao's prime, he would probably KO Mario Barrios, or he would beat him by unanimous decision, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what specifically happened in that fight last month between Manny Pacquiao at 46 and Mario Barrios. Manny Pacquiao was a complete shell of himself. Now, I'll give props when it's due. The fact that he went 12 rounds with a young dude like Mario Barrios, who's a champion at 147, and Manny Pacquiao was coming off of a 3-year layoff, I give him all the credit, right? I give him all the credit. Just the fact that it went 12 rounds, Mario Barrios should be ashamed of himself. He should even consider retirement. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that performance is easily one of Manny Pacquiao's worst performances in his professional career. It could be ranked the worst, right? And he didn't even look like 50% of what he used to look like in his prime, which is normal. The guy's almost 50, right? Like, Manny Pacquiao just looked completely old. Every time he would throw his little 3-4 punch combination, he was always getting hit by Barrios with counters, right? Mario Barrios would counter right back at him easily. Was going to the body with ease, was touching him in his face with ease. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact that the WBC did this is why boxing is one of the most corrupt, if not the most, it's by far one of the most corrupt sports in the world. And I will even go as far as to say that this makes me think that this fight was rigged. Because when you think about it, the fact that Manny Pacquiao came off of a 3-year layoff at 46 years old. The last time we seen him in the ring is when he lost to Ugas. The fact that he came back after 3 years at 46 years old and he automatically got a title shot against Mario Barrios, and then he gets a draw. And then ironically, not after he won, ironically after you got a draw that could have went either way, now you're the number 1 ranked boxer at 147 pounds for the WBC? Does this, like seriously, like to everybody listening to this video, whether you're a Pacquiao fan or not, does this sound normal to you? Does this sound like this makes sense to you? Because if it does, you're a part of the problem. Like, you're a part of the problem of why boxing is where it is today. I think this fight was rigged. I think that the game plan is they told Mario Barrios, don't go in there and hurt Manny. Don't go in there and just completely dominate Manny. We want you to go in there, you know, give it 50%. And if Pacquiao can't dominate you, we just gonna call it a draw. That's what it's looking like to me. Because I've never heard of a scenario where a guy comes off of a 3-year layoff at 46, gets a title shot, gets a draw, and he's the number 1 ranked boxer in the WBC in his weight class. This might be the first time this has happened in the history of boxing. And it makes sense because you look at how boxing is way less popular than it was in its prime, right? In the golden age of boxing. You look at how sports like, you know, the NFL and the NBA and obviously baseball and even the UFC in America specifically, these sports are more popular than boxing right now. And Manny Pacquiao is a Hall of Famer. He's a household name, right? He's still, even to this day, he's still one of the most popular current recognized boxers in the world, right? As far as his generation, it makes sense that the WBC would rank this guy number 1 off of a draw, because they know when he fights, people are gonna pay to see him, right? People are gonna pay for a pay-per-view to see Manny Pacquiao, and people are gonna pay to see Manny Pacquiao fight in person. That's just what it is. Let's just keep it real. That's just what it is, right? We know boxing is all about money, which is why robberies happen, right? Look at the situation with Lamont Roach Jr. and Gervonta Tank Davis, right? We all know that when Tank took that knee, that should have been considered a knockdown. We all know that if that knee would have counted as a knockdown, then Lamont Roach Jr. would have won this fight. But they called it a draw. Why? Because next to Canelo Alvarez, Gervonta Tank Davis at this point in time, I would say after Canelo and Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis is one of the faces of boxing. Gervonta Davis has one of the biggest fan bases in boxing. People are going to pay pay-per-views to watch Gervonta Tank Davis fight, no matter who he fights, which is why he has been able to get away for years of ducking top-tier elite competition in his weight class. Because no matter who he fights, people want to pay money to see Tank fight because they know it's almost a guaranteed knockout and a good fight. It's going to be entertaining, right? So, of course they're not going to let Gervonta Tank Davis lose to Lamont Roach. I think if they fight again, if Lamont Roach can't knock out Gervonta Davis or at least drop him once or twice, there's no way he can beat Gervonta Tank Davis. I think Tank can fight the same way he did the first time, and it's either going to be another draw or they're going to give it to Tank, unless he can drop Tank or stop him. And you know what's crazy? Gervonta Tank Davis literally said this to Lamont Roach during the fight. Lamont Roach said it. He said on Lamont Roach's ear, you know they're not going to let you win, right? So, boxing is corrupt. Even in 2025, with social media, all this information out there, boxing is still, unfortunately, very corrupt. And you know what's sad? Is boxing as a sport, the people that run boxing, right? They care so much about money that they are willing to allow a Hall of Famer boxer like Manny Pacquiao, who clearly just doesn't know when to stop, right? Like, let's just be honest, right? Like, the only excuse I would give Manny Pacquiao is if he's fighting right now because he needs money, right? I heard Manny Pacquiao gives away a lot of his money. That's what I heard. If Manny Pacquiao gave away too much of his money and he needs to make a couple $1 million because he may have spent some money or whatever the situation is, I totally get it and I totally respect him coming back to boxing. But if he's doing this, why I think he's doing this, if he's doing this because he just loves the sport, and whenever he's away from the sport of boxing for too long, he doesn't feel good, or he feels like a part of him is missing, and he just loves the game, right? And the people around him are allowing him to do this, like, they should be ashamed of themselves, bro. Because at this point, it's safe to say that Manny Pacquiao is not going to stop until he gets hurt, right? And I hate to say this, but when you look at how things have gone with this Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach fight, right? Obviously, Gervonta Tank Davis got arrested for domestic violence against his baby mom, again, for the second time, I think in less than a year. He's going to court tomorrow. At this point, it's safe to say that the Tank and Lamont Roach rematch is officially off, right? That fight was supposed to happen August 16th. Today is August 11th. That fight is not happening, right? I think Lamont Roach Jr., he's still holding off hope to make that fight happen. I just don't think Tank is going to do it, right? Manny Pacquiao said in an interview recently that he's coming back to the ring in December. Now, think about it. What boxer right now can Manny Pacquiao make the most money with? Because we're hearing rumors of him possibly fighting Rolly Romero, but we're also hearing rumors that Rolly Romero is going to have a rematch with Ryan Garcia. You know, we've also heard some rumors that there may be a Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios rematch. I don't see it happening. Manny Pacquiao has already said in interviews that he wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And if Manny Pacquiao does indeed fight Gervonta Tank Davis, this fight is going to make a lot of money. I would even go as far as to say that the pay-per-view numbers for this fight, I'm not going to say it's going to do more than Tank versus Ryan, but if it doesn't do more than Tank versus Ryan, I think it'll do close. I think Tank versus Ryan did over 700,000 pay-per-views. I would say Manny Pacquiao versus Tank would at least do 500 to 600,000 pay-per-views. Let me look it up real quick. Gervonta versus Ryan. I want to look up because I'm pretty sure it did over 700,000 pay-per-view buys. Let me see. Holy shit. Okay, so they said this fight generated approximately 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. That is incredible, man. Why did I say 700 and something thousand? Why did I say that? Let me see. Most profitable boxing. I want to see the all-time boxing pay-per-views. Let me see. Okay, so number one is Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Number two is Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Number three is Floyd versus Canelo. Number four is Oscar versus Floyd. Hold on. I know Ryan and Tank has to be somewhere on this list, bro. It has to be somewhere on this list. Let me just double check. I don't want to take too long doing this. It has to be on this list, bro, right? Let me see. Okay. All right, so it's on the list, bro. Yeah, they did 1.2. Anyway, I would say that Tank versus Manny, it should do close to 1 million pay-per-view buys, bro. It should. You know, you combine Tank's fan base with Manny Pacquiao's fan base, bro. It has to do close to 1 million. Like I said, I would say it'll do at least close to 700,000, right? But with that being said, man, if this fight really does happen with Tank and Pacquiao in December, bro, Manny Pacquiao is brutally gonna get knocked the fuck out, bro. And I just don't want to see Manny Pacquiao at this age get hurt like that. Like, it'll hurt me. Like I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If that fight was to happen, I don't even know if I'll watch it, bro. Because I don't want to see a Tank who's only 30 years old, you know, brutally knock out Manny Pacquiao who's 46, bro. Like, I don't want to see that shit, bro. Like, do you guys remember when Juan Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao? Like, we thought he died in the ring for it. Like, he took like 5 minutes to get up, bro. The man was just laid out. I think if he fights Tank at this age, it'll be worse than that. It'll be worse than that. And Tank don't even have to punch him clean on the jaw. Tank can. You saw what happened with Tank versus Ryan. Tank can stop Pacquiao with a body shot, you know? And I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao, a Hall of Fame boxer, one of the best boxers of all time, arguably, turn into a vegetable because he decided to fight Gervonta Tank Davis in his mid-40s, bro. I don't want to see that. And the fact that boxing and the PBC is even entertaining this, bro, I think it's disgusting, bro. I think this is completely disgusting. And it just goes to show how desperate Al Heyman is to make money for the PBC. You know, think about it. Look at how many different networks that we've seen the PBC on. That they was on Fox, right? Then they was on where was they on last? They were on Fox. They were on what? CBS, NBC, CBS. What was the last place the PBC was on, bro? I forgot. But whoever they was on previously, they lost that deal. Now the PBC is with Amazon Prime, right? I think Al Heyman is doing this because they're just not making the money that they should be making with their deal for Amazon. And I think that Al Heyman is trying to do everything he can to not get Amazon to stop this deal with the PBC. You know, this seems like a panic move to me, bro, from Al Heyman. And I get it. You know, boxing is not making the same amount of money it used to be, which is why Turki Al-Sheikh has been able to pretty much come in and pretty much take over the sport, because he has an unlimited bag to where he can pay fighters, you know, more than what they would usually get paid. But this is sad, man. This is sad. This is a disgrace to the sport of boxing. And this is why so many people don't watch boxing or support boxing anymore, bro. Because boxing has become a joke, man. So with that being said, man, let me know what you guys think about this. Manny Pacquiao is the #1 ranked welterweight boxer in the WBC. He will be fighting in December, and it's looking like his next opponent will be Gervonta Tank Davis or Rolly Romero. Thank you guys for watching the video, man. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, and most importantly, leave a comment. I'm out.